Welcome back, everyone. Today, as I'm recording, is January 1st, 2021. I think we're all pretty glad that 2020 is behind us. It's now been exactly 1 year since I left my cushy job in the corporate world behind. So with the new year, I think it's a good time to reflect back and ask the tough questions. Is there anything I would have done differently making that transition? Do I regret that decision to leave the good job behind? We will get to that. But first, now that we have the permits, things have been happening fast and furious with the renovation. I've got lots of updates to share with you. We're gonna start by rewinding about a month ago when I had new siding and windows installed on the penthouse room that leads out to the roof deck. Let's dive into it. This is not an episode of Ghost Hunters, I swear. I actually just wanna show you some stuff in the penthouse room before work starts on it. Come on up. Room. Last time we were here, we found some pigeon's nest with a dead pigeon in the ceiling. We demoed the whole interior. Now it's time to actually start finishing this space. So let's do the super fast before tour. We gotta do a little gymnastics. So there are 3 windows in this room. They're completely handmade, homemade windows, literally just like a sheet of glass and some caulk. So they leak like crazy. This one we're just gonna fill in the wall, because you don't need 3 windows here. That one and this one we're going to replace with some brand new windows. Okay, so out here they put the new roof on, but we didn't finish the lintels. So got to put lintels, gutters up here. We just had this house wrap on here protecting everything, keeping the rain out. It's actually held amazingly well, but it is time to put vinyl siding all the way around this. All that's going to be happening this week. So pretty excited that's going to be some real progress. What do you think? Perfect fit, huh?
Yeah.
Sunny today, but it's a little chilly, so we're gonna make this quick. Siding's about to go on. Actually, already started to go on. And I think that makes it time for a satisfying time lapse. So it was a big relief to get all the siding done before winter hit and the snow started piling up on the roof, which inevitably would have led to leaks. And next up, we've got some of the framing, which was necessary to do before HVAC, electrical, and plumbing could do their job. And I actually had some of the framing modified based on comments from you guys, which made me look at something a little differently. Let me show you. Come on back. So as I'm walking down this hallway, you might notice it feels a little bit more open. A bunch of you commented when I did the first framing video that the hallway seemed really kind of narrow and cramped. It was exactly 36 inches wide. So as I kind of was looking at it again, I kind of agreed with you. The bedrooms were about 15 feet wide, losing a few inches from them, making the hallway feel a little bit roomier. Made sense to me. So the framing guys had to come back anyway to frame the inside of the exterior bedroom walls. And when they're here, I just had to move this whole wall here back about 6 inches, so we now got about a 42-inch wide hallway. And honestly, I think it makes a pretty big difference as to how open the hallway feels in general. I also had to make a very hard decision on the bedroom walls. We are gonna put some drywall over the brick. In the bedrooms, having the extra insulation was worth it. It was a hard choice, but I think it was the right one. So you might have noticed something else earlier as I was running around the building. There are now stairs between the living room in front of me and the bedroom area behind me, which is raised up by about 3 feet. Before we go further, let's take a quick minute and hear from this video's sponsor, ARIAT Work. So this might surprise some of you guys, but I have not lived in Chicago my whole life. I actually spent 6 years in Houston, Texas. And as a result of that time, I do own a couple pairs of cowboy boots. I'm no stranger to Western wear, even though it may not look like it right now. Because of my time in Texas, I was familiar with ARIAT, but I always knew them as a Western wear line. But if you think about it, it totally makes sense for a Western wear company to make workwear. So Western wear, cowboy boots, that stuff has to hold up at the rodeo where someone is getting thrown off of a bull, for God's sakes. ARIAT knows how to make durable clothing. Their workwear line is amazing. Their boots are amazing. I mean, just look over here, hold on. You guys see this? I didn't even put this here. So that's like deadly weapons just sitting here on the floor from, I think the HVAC guys ripped this out. So let's just think about that nail. Pretend this is your foot. Yeah! Don't want that to happen. ARIAT's boots keep me protected and look pretty good in the process. I wear their jeans pretty much every day. They're modern, slimline, fits really well, but gives you just enough room that you're not gonna feel uncomfortable while you work. There's a link in the description to my personal ARIAT favorites, everything I've been wearing in my videos over the last 6 months. I think you guys will dig it. Thanks again to ARIAT for being a huge supporter of this channel. And now, let's get back to the video. So I met with the HVAC contractor, Adam, and I think we've come up with a pretty good design for the system. I'd say it's about 75% installed right now. And before we get to the footage of that installation, we're gonna go back to Industrial U here and talk about the design of the system. So we got a rough sketch of the second floor plan here. Not exactly to scale, but close enough you can get the idea. Living, dining, kitchen in the front here, bedroom, studio in the back. So first up, we have the mechanicals room with the furnace, which is right in the middle of the floor plan. Makes it easy to get air out to the whole area right here. Coming out of the system, we're gonna have 2 motorized dampers to create dual zones. Zone in the front, zone in the back, so it can adjust the heating and cooling separately for those areas. It's gonna be really nice because you don't have to heat the bedrooms when you're just using the living area during the day and vice versa. So we'll have our supply lines that come out and run along this wall into the living room with vents over here. We're also gonna have smaller vents that run out across the living room all the way to the front so we can get super even circulation of the air, keep it rotating through the space, and not have a bunch of hot air accumulating at the top of the room. In the back, we're gonna have the supply lines running down the hallway along the wall in the YouTube studio. We'll build a soffit here so we have nice even distribution. There'll be one line that comes across there. There'll be lines that come across the supply air to the far side on the ceiling of the bedrooms. So we'll have a return line running down the hallway here. The intake vents for the return line are gonna be in the floor on the far side of the bedrooms from the supply lines. That's gonna keep a nice circulation of air. So again, we don't get hot air accumulating in the ceiling. Hopefully will be a nice even heating or cooling in those rooms. As far as the ducts themselves, for the main duct supply and return, we used rectangular ducts with interior insulation. And before we hop into the actual installation footage, I'll let Adam tell you real quick why those are important.
And you have a liner which is glued and it can go out. And then you put the 2 together like this. Boom. And then you have your duct. There's sheet metal which is louder. Put the liner in. Works like a muffler, basically.
before we get to the return ductwork up here, they are currently working on all the ductwork, taking airflow into the bedrooms. For that, we're using 6-inch tubes that are really well insulated. There's these ducts that are kind of inlaid into the brick wall here. So I talked with the HVAC contractor yesterday, and turns out they're basically ducts that lead to nowhere. They've been capped off at both ends. All they would do if we left them was basically be pockets of air that would leak hot or cold air out depending on the time of the year. I'm just gonna pull those out right now while the guys are getting the ductwork ready. That one was easy. Now the wall is all ready for the guys to throw in the ductwork, and then we'll frame it right here. So that's it for the Reno updates this time, but we still got some things to talk about. First up, plans for 2021. What have we got in store? When is this building going to be done? And two, now that it's been a year, did I make a huge mistake by quitting my job? Well, to answer that, let's start by flashing back to March 2020, the first video I did for this building right after I bought it. How exactly did I wind up here, standing in front of a huge pile of trash in an abandoned building, which is supposed to be my home in like only 4 months. Only 4 months. So yeah, let's pause right there. Clearly, I way underestimated how much time this project was going to take. I obviously didn't know at the time that COVID was going to hit. Everything here has definitely been more difficult, more expensive than I anticipated. But in the big picture, I got to focus on a huge positive that happened in 2020. And to explain that, I actually have to make a huge confession. When I released the first video for this building and bought it, I didn't anticipate this channel taking the direction it would take this year. So beforehand, I'd always just made build videos, DIY projects, tables, lighting, stuff like that. And I still am going to continue to do that. I'll have to furnish this place after all. But I didn't even think about releasing videos for demolition, roof replacement, HVAC framing, things like that. Those topics weren't even on my radar. But then something in March happened that honestly was just, for me personally, life-changing. And I think I'll look back at that first video as sort of an inflection point where my life took a direction I didn't expect in a very awesome way. That first video, I kind of just released it to let my existing subs know really why I wasn't going to be releasing videos for a while, because I was planning to do all the stuff that was in the videos this year off camera so I could just get it done and get back to making furniture, lighting, and that sort of thing. It was the only video I'd ever made where I didn't build a thing. I didn't even try to get a sponsor for it because I just didn't think it would get that many views. I'm happy I was wrong. 3.7 million have watched that first video. Everyone in the comments was asking me to show all the details, to kind of share as much as I could of this whole abandoned building reno project. So I just made a left turn, went for it, and yeah, it's been a heck of a journey, and I am so grateful for the opportunities it's opening up to me. I'm grateful to all of you because at the end of the day, your support is what makes it possible. I'm honestly just humbled at everything that's happened in that regard this year. And you know, 2020 has been a tough year for a lot of people in a lot of ways. So I feel really lucky I have this big positive to take out of it, and that isn't lost on me. So I guess it's obvious by now that I don't think I made the bad decision at all. I'm really happy I actually did take the leap of faith, quitting my job, doing this full time. I'm eternally grateful for this, and I know I'm saying that over and over, but I guess I do kind of want to just keep saying thank you to all you guys over and over again. I'm gonna get off the soapbox now, and let's talk about what the plans are moving into 2021. I guess I have some bad news, but there is a silver lining to it. The bad news is that for the next couple months, I think the videos are probably gonna be a little bit less frequent. Still gonna be filming everything, but I've kind of realized over the last month that with contractors coming in, me trying to film everything, me trying to edit videos too on top of all that, I'm actually starting to kind of miss filming some things that I want to share. My average video takes about, I'd say 35 to 40 hours to edit. And obviously when I'm doing that, I can't be doing the reno. I've tried hiring someone, and honestly it doesn't work because things with the reno and all the contractors and subcontractors are always in such flux. It just becomes a scheduling nightmare. And I can't really afford to have someone here as sort of a full-time videographer editor. What I think is gonna have to happen for a few months is that editing the footage I'm capturing is kind of gonna have to go on the back burner so that I can make sure that I actually do capture everything I need to and do get this renovation done right. The good news and silver lining is that I think there's gonna be back-ended more content and much better content as a result. So what is the plan right now? By the end of January, we should have finished all the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and framing, be ready for those 4 inspections to happen with the city. Assuming they approve it, then the next step is to close up the walls with drywall, put in the hardwood floors, and install the finishes in the guest bath. I'll be doing the hardwood flooring and all the finishes in the guest bath, so there'll be a lot of video content on that. Once that is done, I'll be at a point where I can move in to the guest bedroom. I'll have a functioning bathroom upstairs. And at that point, I can breathe a little bit easier because I'm moved into the building. I'm not having to pay for an Airbnb and live out of a suitcase anymore. Then once I'm in, I'm gonna start working on the kitchen and the living area in front and the master bathroom. I can see that future happening and I'm super excited about it. Again, thank you all for being along with me on this journey. If you haven't checked out the other videos in the abandoned building playlist, make sure to do it. There'll be a playlist up there. That's it for this time, and I'll see you guys next time.